Hey there, and welcome back. We are talking about composition and the rule of thirds, and I thought it might be interesting to show you something different. Now, in the previous video, we talked all about theory behind composition and the rule of thirds, and we focused our attention on After Effects. But because we're in this course, we're also talking a little bit about Cinema 4D. So I thought it might help to show you how you can use different composition helpers inside of Cinema 4D to help you with composing. So here we are inside of Cinema 4D, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a camera. You have to add a camera no matter what your scene is to get these helpers, okay? And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my composition to 1920 by 1080. So there we are. We're 1920 by 1080, and we're all set up. So you can tell we're not looking through the camera. So that's the other thing. We need to look through the camera. So we need to click on this little icon. And now we are looking through the camera. And once we're looking through the camera, down here under camera, we've got all these different tabs. Well, this one called composition, that's where we want to be. Composition, enable composition helpers. So it's turned on, click, there's our grid. So just to show you, if I was not looking through the camera, I'm not going to see anything. Even though this is enabled, I cannot see anything because I'm not looking through the camera. So I'm back here looking through the camera. At this point, I can move around. I can kind of frame my shot based on the rule of thirds, right? So we've talked about this, and here is our very simple grid, right, with the rule of thirds. So here's our really powerful point. This is the second most. Third, fourth, you get it. So that's the first thing. So once we enable one of these like grid and it's turned on, I can do this drop down and I can actually adjust things. Like I can adjust the color. If I don't want it to be this kind of greenish color, now it's kind of more of a reddish color. Let's make it a little darker here. So there you can see a little bit darker. I can adjust the cell size, the cell number from 3. Here's 4. And what it's doing 1, 2, 3, 4 across, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So if I do 5, same deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So if we go back just like in After Effects where we did 3 by 3, that's what this grid is. So that's grid. I can turn that one off. I can turn triangles on. I've never really used this one much, but here's mode 1 and here's mode 2. So just a little bit narrower triangle there. We can also flip, right? And I'm not quite sure. I guess that flips it vertically. Here's a mirror. Well, this would actually flip it vertically. This is going to flip it horizontally. Again, you can change the color. Turn that one back off. We've got the golden spiral, which we've talked about. And down here in golden spiral, I can mirror it horizontally, vertically. I can flip it. I can align it to the center. I can align it to the top, where you can see the line here aligns to the top of my frame. I can align it to the bottom of the frame. But I'll go back to center here. What's also really cool about this is I can turn multiple ones on. So I could turn golden spiral on. I could turn the grid on. I could turn triangles on. You know, I could overwhelm my screen. I could turn enable. They all turn off. Enable again. They're all back on. Let's look at diagonal. So diagonal is on. It's just a single line across here that we can mirror, and it's going to go the opposite way. What else we got here? We've got golden section. This one's really cool. So immediately you'd think this is the rule of thirds, right? Well, you can tell if I turn the grid back on, that's the red, and then golden section. So in the golden section, it's saying that this center area here is just a little bit more of like that golden area, that perfect area to be in, to view your composition, to really draw attention. It's right there. Well, what's really cool about this is it says iterations 1. So watch if I turn iterations 2. So now it's drawn the secondary line here. That's a little more faint, right? It's saying this is a little bit more powerful. This right here is still more powerful. This outer is a little bit less powerful. We'll turn iterations 3 on, and there's another more faint line outside here. We'll go one more, and you can just barely see this line there. So that's a really cool way to view it. It's called golden section. You can also turn off, different sides. So I want to turn left off, I'm gonna turn the bottom off, the top. Now it's just the right side, right? So this is the really powerful, place to look. This is the second most, third, fourth. So that's really cool. And then I also want to show you what's cool about this. So like, let's say this is we've got the golden spiral on, and let's position. Let's say we want the tip of our cone here to be like the main focus, right? And this is just a very basic example, but like I could go here, go to my camera now. I could set a keyframe for the position, rotation if necessary. And then what I could do is I go to the end of my timeline and I could, move in here. Because let's say I just want to zoom in on this cone here. And I can still, that spiral's there, and it makes it much easier to really, control my camera moves. And you can see there. So now that point, now this isn't perfect, but that point of the cone is, in our focus the entire time. And it's in that perfect spot the entire time for it to be, the absolute best place to look at for this composition we have set up. So that's it. That's what I wanted to show you guys today on Cinema 4D. It's got they're called composition helpers. There's something that they get overlooked a lot of times, but they're here to help you with your composition and really helping align things and get things in the perfect spot to really, draw people's eyes into your composition. So that does it for Cinema 4D and composition helpers.